Okay, so here I've got a speaker basically that's going to move this thing up and down. It's moving it at 10 cycles every second. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to change this so that we have a maximum amplitude. There we go. I'm changing the tension slightly. It's like tuning a guitar. Okay, we've got a maximum amplitude. And notice that the ends aren't moving because of course they can't move. And the middle is moving a lot. Now let's go to 20 hertz. Notice at 20 cycles a second, okay, there's actually a spot in the middle. We call those a node. There's a node at each end and there's a node in the middle there. And then these are anti-nodes like that. Let's go to 30 hertz. And of course, 2 ends fixed does this. It'll go 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's tune this up. There we go. That's nice, right? Notice that there's spots here where I can even touch this. And it keeps doing its thing. Let's go to 40 hertz. Here's 40. 40 gives us 4 of those antinodes, right? Let's go to 50. There you go. Now, we're about to attach this to something a little more complicated, okay? So just hold on to this idea of these spots that are sitting still. That's the key concept here, okay? So let's slow this down so we can see it. This is super slow-mo here, right? Notice that center point, keep your eye on that center point. There's a node there that's just sort of pivoting but not really moving very much. So if we analyze that motion, that N is where the node is, right? And at one instant, the left side's up and the right side's down. And in the next instant, the left side's down and the right side is up. And it just sits there and alternates back and forth with that little node in the middle sitting more or less perfectly still. Let's look at some more slow-mo of this. And focus on those nodes. Look at those nodes, right? You can see the spots where it's actually just sitting perfectly still. Now let's apply this to something more complicated. Okay, so here's our little speaker. I think I've got a lock there. I'm going to put a round thing on. This is the simplest thing. I think I can explain the round thing, okay? And what we do is we just turn this on, and this thing really needs to be at the high frequency. So we're 360 hertz. Right there. Right there it's doing something because it's really loud, right? I'm just going to turn the volume down here so I can talk. Right, so what's happening here is that the sand will sit where it's not moving. If it's moving at all, the sand gets pushed off of there, right? And so what's happening here, I imagine, is that the top is going up and down. This is a spot where it's sitting still, just like the string sat still, right? Here it's moving, here it's sitting still, here it's moving. And I imagine that like this might be up, that might be down, that might be up. That's my guess, okay? I'm pretty sure that's true, right? Okay, so let's keep going because this doesn't always do these circular patterns. I'll show you this, okay? So let's try to decipher what the professor there is saying, right? So at one instant, right, that middle could be up relative, right? The first circle could be a node, then the next middle section is down, then node, then up. And in the next half cycle, this could reverse itself with the middle being down, right? That next ring being up and then down. And it could just sit there and alternate back and forth between these. Now the motion here is very, very subtle. It's like a fraction of a millimeter, but it's enough to move the sand, and that's important. Okay, let's take a moment to look at this famous wagon wheel. Now let's look at that inner ring right there. Okay, if for one instant you might have a pattern like this, right, where there's up, next to down, next to up, next to down, up, down, etc., right? There has to be an even number of these, right? Because up always has to be next to down. Now let's look at the next ring out. The next ring out would have to be this then. There seem to be some simple rules, right? So the up and the down are separated by a node there, and then the neighbor there also is separated by a node. And the nodes are where the sand is, right? And then of course we can expand this rule to the ring on the outside, right? The ring on the outside at this instant would have to look like this, and you can do the outside ring yourself.
Teki kutuai atu tele tele keke